Welcome to the latest episode of Claw's Corner. Today's guest is an actor and author. He began his career as a Broadway actor in Love for Love and The Member of the Wedding, both starring Glenn Close, and has not looked back since. His television credits include The Jeffersons, Beretta, Roots, In the Heat of the Night, The Brady Bunch Variety Hour, Martin, The Steve Harvey Show, Veep, Everybody Hates Chris, Everybody Still Hates Chris, and many, many, many more. His movie credits include Malcolm X, The Lords of Salem, Dickie Roberts' former child star, Foreclosed, Mega Shark vs. Colossus, Funny People, and once again, many, many, many more. He is most well known as Roger, affectionately known as Raj to his family and friends, in the hit sitcoms What's Happening and What's Happening Now. These classic shows tackled issues such as friendships, communication, obesity, divorce, financial struggle, unemployment, poverty, racism, gambling, education, teen pregnancy, adolescence, and of course, the most important issue of our time, bootlegging a Doobie Brothers concert. In 2017, he released his autobiography and a motivational book entitled From Raj to Riches, Overcoming Life Through Faith. It's a personal account of his journey, focusing how he navigated show business and life's difficulties with a religious perspective. So without further ado, please welcome the extremely talented Ernest L. Thomas to the Claw's Corner. Ernest, how the hell are you?
Wow, thank you so much. Everybody, please sit. I know you're all standing right now. Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed by this. Please, don't do this to me. I can't handle it. I will be in a river of tears. Please, I can't. Oh my Lord. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Did I leave anything out?
No, Rich, you did it. God, like, we covered what? Oh, yeah. He's a teen pregnancy. I said, what? Oh, yeah, we did. We sure did. Oh, my Lord.
Communications, poverty, divorce. You did it all. This was such a great show.
When you listed it, yeah, I couldn't. I said, wow. No one ever said that. No one ever, listed these like those like it like that, like you did.
Well, I have to say, for the people watching, I met you at this convention called Chiller in New Jersey. I love that place because it started off as more horror, but now it became more pop culture. So I met you, the one who played Danielle, who played Dee. I met Dwayne, Haywood Nelson. But then, so I met you again the second time, and this is when I had the radio show. I said, I would love to have you on the show. You're like, Rich, let's do it. You were so good. So since then, I read your book. I went through it with a fine-tooth comb, so there's a lot to talk about. But then also, I watched, I think, every episode of What's Happening and What's Happening Now. And I enjoyed it probably more now than I did back then in the 70s and 80s.
Wow.
It is
wow.
I think it's just as relevant or even more relevant now. Some of the stuff you're bringing up, watching it.
Yes. Oh, my God, Rich. Thank you. And I could tell, because a lot of people doing it just so they can have it, it's part of their program or so people will know, whatever. But then there are people who are passionate.
Yes.
They genuinely they want it. They are that excited about it. They have invested time and interest and literally, grew up from the little boy on to a grown man, and so I could see that. And that's always just few journalists over the years have that. The other going through it, just going through it, and God bless them. Still, they're not rude,
Yeah.
But I could tell you really love the show.
Oh,
you really love the show. Yeah,
I do. And we're going to talk about all of that and much, much more. Because, like I said, I read your book from cover to cover, and I could not believe the life you led. So, before we get to what's happening, because I know everybody wants to hear about that, but I want to talk about your incredible life, starting with. In the book, you talk about what a blessed life you had, but all of this almost never happened. So I want your story and what your mother's reaction was when she found out that she was pregnant with you.
Yeah, yeah. My mother, God rest her soul, who is a Christian missionary. She was a prayer warrior. In other words, she literally could lay her hands on people or not even see them, and pray for them, and they were healed. The doctors are baffled. Even the 4 people for sure right now that are living, and the doctors are baffled. And she always gives Christ the glory. But she was 16. No, she was 16 when she had my sister, and my four uncles beat up the guy and made him marry her. That was Robert Thomas, and so then, but he was, and she said he wasn't a bad guy, but he was, he was a ladies' man. He was
Yeah.
very handsome, and every time you look, some woman was knocking on the door saying she was pregnant,
Oh,
another young girl. So yes, so she decided to cheat and have me. She was 18
yep.
and she didn't want it after going through the childbirth with my sister. She went, oh, hell no. I don't want to do. Oh no. So a friend told her that, girl, just get you a coat hanger,
Oh.
and you put the coat hanger up in there. So she was in the bathroom trying to do it. It was in there and my aunt and my grandmother just happened to knock. They knew she was up to something because she was in there for a while. Thank God they opened the door and found her.
Thank you.
And yeah, and I think they might have tapped her a few times. Yeah, because back in the day, they did that, and but she said, I asked her, I said, Mom, but you weren't gonna really abort me. She said, son, I'm sorry, I can't lie before God. I would, if I could have gotten away with it. She
Oh.
said, I'm sorry. She said, I'm sorry now. When I think about it, oh my Lord,
Yeah.
you know, I would have missed out. But you don't know. You're so young and you don't want to go through that pain. But yes, sir. Yeah, she tried to get rid of the kid. Yeah.
Well, let's just say it would have been a tremendous loss. So I'm so glad they caught her before that.
Thank you, man. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, brother.
Well, I
Yeah.
want to talk about where you got your name because where did the name Ernest come from?
Yeah, my mother, the lady she rented from, her husband had died and he was a good man. His name was Ernest.
Mhm.
And so she felt that would be good luck if my mother named me Ernest, And there were no Ernests in that neighborhood, the black neighborhood that I knew of. It was every other name but Ernest. So it was definitely because I my mother even said it, Ernest. She, she was an Ernest, Ernest. So I knew it wasn't something that she thought. Bless her heart, she had a little.
That's
She
funny.
had a little bit of ebonics going on, but you love it, lovely ebonics.
Yes,
And
yes.
but that's how I got it. Yeah, Ernest from that, and now I oh that oh just I went to the American Black Film Festival just a few days ago,
Hmm.
and we have a sitcom that I did that is starring the first autistic kid.
Oh,
Oh, Rich, one day you got to interview this kid,
please let me know.
Josiah Howard Tobias. He's 8 years old now and he has a high vocabulary,
Yep.
right? And he's just sensitive to sound, but he discovered what's happening at 7 by YouTube, surfing, right? And fell in love with it, knows everything about it, what colors I were wearing, why you were standing over here, you put your hand over here, you did that type of thing, right? And so anyway, I was there. So while I was there, a guy came up and he was emotional because he said, my name is Ernest. And he says, man, I never liked that name until I found out that Raj's real name was Ernest, and all of his friends were, like co-signing. He said, I never liked that name so that was the first time I met someone that said that. Yeah, that's why. Yeah.
Well, I love that, and please, I have your phone number. I'm gonna keep in touch with you, and I would definitely would love to interview this guy. Are you the producer of the
Yeah.
show? Are you the producer?
Uh, no, no.
Oh,
I'm just an actor. His acting coach is the
okay.
producer, writer, and director, Kanique Sky. And she's a phenomenal. She was a finalist in the American Idol. I forgot what year, and then went on to like, okay, I'm gonna start writing. And then she wrote two plays that sold out. She's an incredible writer, and then she decided to write a sitcom because this kid said he wanted to be like me. He wanted to be like Ernest Thomas. And Rich, they have, and I didn't know this part. I went there. I had seen the sitcom, but she added a little footage after the credits.
Yep.
So she showed when, because he's autistic, things that really excite him, he starts hyperventilating.
Mm-hmm.
So, so when they do this, they show it, and then the credits are going up. Then they show him. We're on a Zoom call because he knows I'm in it, but he doesn't know that I'm gonna be at the table read.
Yep.
So when he does, oh my God, the crowd went nuts. They could not believe. You could not believe. Oh, oh no, Ernest! It's so. I mean, it just makes you want to cry. This kid is he's so excited, and even when they calm him down, it still takes a while, right?
Yep.
Okay, breathe, Josiah, breathe, and then later I fly in to do the sitcom. And as I come into the classroom, after they've done their little scene, I come in just to meet him real quick. And again, he just, that scene alone of him, his reaction just melts you, man. And then when I finish the sitcom, he said, Mr. Thomas, one day I'm going to tell my grandchildren about you.
Love it.
I'm like, oh my God, don't do that. I can't handle this. I can't handle this.
It's great because that's one life you've touched immensely, but you have no idea probably of all the other lives that people you never even talked to, never even heard from, that you inspired, that
Yes,
you motivated, that you moved.
yes.
That so it's so great. That's why I love the fact you came out with this book. I mean,
Thank
just
you.
the TV show alone, you're inspiring people, as you
Thank you.
mentioned. Uh,
Thank you.
Before we move on with your life, where can we see the show? Is it being released now, or is it going to be released sometime in the future?
Yeah, it's trying to find a home right now. So that's why I was in that. It got nominated for a competition among short films. And then at the Cannes Film Festival, it got nominated there too as well.
Wow.
They had they just started doing that for sitcom or smaller films. So right now we're looking for a home and praying that someone finds. I mean, anyone that sees this kid again, he's a great actor, but he's so articulate, and yet he's autistic, but and that makes him so special because he's normal, but that he lets you know, he's narrating in the beginning, letting you know, I'm just like anyone else, except I guess I'm sensitive to certain things, da da da, and so it's a beautiful way to introduce people to see that it's not a it's as she calls it, the writer Kanique, she calls it their superpower.
Yeah.
So the autism is not something that is negative; it's their superpower. And with him, it really is, man. And he was up on stage afterwards when they did the Q&A, and she's and answering some questions, but then he tells them how it happened. I had this idea, and da yada da. And can you please give it up for my acting coach and the writer and director? You just see this like an old soul,
Yeah.
this old man. And so anyway, I know Josiah Howard Tobias and Kanique Skies is. I just have to throw that out there because I'm just so proud to be a part of it.
Well, I am so
I'm the
glad you did. I am
principal.
definitely looking very much forward to not only
Yeah.
watching the show, but having him on the show, talking about it.
Okay. Yeah. And it's called Intelligent. Intelligent.
Yes,
That's the
intelligent.
name of the show. Intelligent.
Intelligent.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, getting back to your life, you were talking about your lady man's real father. So I want to talk about why the fear of kidnapping prevented you from ever meeting your father.
Yeah. My mother and my grandmother. I don't know why they got that wild hair, up their buns, but but they really felt that. And he was like my sister's father was a playboy. At least my mother choose hands. At least she had good taste. She had great taste. You know, no ugly men. No ugly men allowed. No, thank you. No.
Your mother had standards.
Can't stand this. So, so my who's William Berry is interesting. People thought, well, because Fred Berry always thought, well, maybe we're real brothers,
Oh, that
right?
would be funny.
Uh, with it, yeah. So, so they thought he did call, and my grandmother and my mother were fearful, fearful that if he came, he would, while they're not watching or whatever, he would just grab me and go, and they would never see me again. And they don't know how much it was a detriment to me. It hurt me, not initially, but as I got older, and I know in a lot of black homes now, the mothers and matriarch, but in the fathers were there,
Hmm.
and we're in the projects, low income, but everyone I knew had a father but me,
Yeah.
and so that was but they really felt the only thing about that, Rich, is I don't get it if a man doesn't fight to see his child. There would be a holy war if I had children and we divorced and all that. You're not gonna keep my children from me.
Hmm.
I just don't see how you allow that. But God, I don't know if he just God, he was weak or what they said was so strong, I'll have you arrested or whatever, all that he just backed away.
Did you ever, even if not meet him, did you ever talk to him?
Never talked to him. And one friend of my mother's, her name was Florida. She came to when I was in college at the time. She came to visit my mother, and they went to grade school and all that together. And so I just said it out to her while they were talking. I said, do you know where my father is? Oh, child, boy, yeah, I know where your father is. Yeah, I said, can you call me? Can you let me know? Oh, sure. So I was home, like one of those weekends from college. I go back and I call her. You can tell my mother had talked to her.
Uh, yeah.
No, child, baby, I can't get involved now. I can't get involved because your mama told me to stay out of her business. I went, but you know what? I'm not a baby. He can't steal me now. I'm
Yeah.
in college. What? And so
Wow.
my mother finally, when she got sick and she was bedridden uh, and actually, I would say for the last 10 years, she died at 91. She would say, you know what? Maybe it's, maybe it's time for you to meet you. It's time to meet your father. Really? Really? Mom, are you serious? Are you serious right now? The man is dead. I'm sure he's dead. He
Oh,
got the nerve, Rich.
that's
Okay, she's 91. He was older than her at that time. She was 18. He had to be 20
oh,
something.
that's funny.
Oh my Lord. And I just could not. And I was asking someone else about it. They said, man, my mother was saying that we don't know. They have their own reasons, you know, and they'll never say. I mean, yeah, I know that like when you were a baby, yeah, I understand
Yeah,
him trying to, yeah. But why in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, she still
yeah,
blocked that, right? Then someone said, well, maybe he would have been a bad influence on you. Maybe intuitively she knew something that
yeah.
just in a spiritual world, that was good. But that's something I always wanted, yeah. I admire good fathers.
Do you
Yeah.
think maybe some of it had to do with that she was worried that if you spoke with him, he might badmouth her, and then you would lose respect for her, even though you obviously loved your mother, and she was maybe worried that
Oh
he
yeah.
would say something that his influence, maybe that was the bad influence that people were
I
talking
never thought about it. Yeah, I could see that. I never thought about it like that. But I never thought about it like that. But absolutely. Because I see it going on now with couples.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, you want to know the real
Absolutely.
story about your mother, and then the kid believes everything the other parent says. It's just going to be a mess.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it. Yeah.
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 Well,
Yeah.
I want to talk about your childhood because growing up, as you said, most of the people that you knew back in your time, they had a mother and a father. You only grew up with a mother. So what was your childhood like? Were you introverted? Were you extroverted? Were you a troublemaker?
Yeah. No, I tell people like, okay, you know, take off the halo, okay? But I said, but I was a good kid. I really was. And I think because my mother introduced me to Christ early on, I mean, since I came out of my mother's womb, that's all I knew about, was Jesus Christ. My grandmother helped raise me. So between my grandmother and my mother, that was always there. So I was very introverted though, very introverted, and I didn't know if it had to do with the molestation that I have forgotten. When I was writing that book, I asked my mother if something that was there something she remembered. Then she told me how the next door neighbor, who they call him pedophile, he was married and he was cheating on his wife, too. But a pedophile can do both. They can love the woman and make great love to her, and they don't want a grown man, but they want little children, little boys and little girls. So that's what happened. My uncles beat him up, and I think. And they didn't tell anyone. That was such a what the, even they didn't know what to do with that.
Yeah.
At that time, it was, everything was so conservative, and that's so out there. um so I from the time I remember, I just love going to my room. I
Hmm.
love, even today, Rich, I go to any event or go to a friend's home for dinner or whatever. I can't, I'm thinking at some point I can enjoy my friends. I enjoy you
Yep.
because meeting you now, love you, right? I can be around these friends I love, and yet at some point I'm looking forward to going back to my room,
Yeah.
right? And running to the room. And I remember the neighbors got on my mother, especially Miss Daisy. She is unnatural for a child to be in a room like that. He needs to come out. And so her husband would bring me. I was asthmatic too. That's another thing. But he'd have me sit on the bench and watch the kids play baseball or whatever. But I was also uh, definitely bullied. Um, at an all black, just I find it funny, at an all black grade school, bullied and called a monkey and nappy headed and ugly and all that. You have no daddy. It's so funny. Then you go to the South for the summer
Hmm.
and to Tunica, Mississippi, and you got the nigger and all that, right? And going to the back of the restaurant.
Yeah.
So I tell kids, I understand why kids why they would be suicidal or commit suicide, because that anchor of Christ really had me. I never thought about killing myself because I had something greater than myself, and who told me everything. I got you, right. That verse about this, you will have trouble in the world, but be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. So all those things helped me, but yet, yeah, I hurt, I cried, I hated going to school at times because I knew the same old same, and you wonder, Lord Jesus, when is this ever gonna end,
Yeah.
and then, seeing my mother going through the relationships with the boyfriends and the stepfather, and seeing her get beaten. And I would say these giant men, because that's what they look like when you're 3, 4, 7. It stopped at 11 because my cousin Sydney, who's in like a mafia thing, and he came to our house with a gun, and And actually, at 8 o'clock in the morning, and told my stepfather that he would kill him right then and there. And he begged for his life. Even I was telling him, please don't do, because we knew he had killed before.
Yeah.
But and again, but before that, from 3 years old on, and seeing her cry out for whatever my mother would holler for me. She screamed for me, and what the hell could I do? You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
all I can, I'm crying about her, and when you do a little something, he can just toss you to the side. So I even before my mother passed away, I said, Mom, all those men owe me an apology. They should apologize to me. I'm sorry that I allowed you to see me brutally beating your mother.
Yeah. Yeah, because his name was JC, or the initials were JC, the fiance, your mother's
Yeah,
fiance, and your
yeah.
cousin. But before that, he did that with the gun. I think there was an incident with you and a butcher knife. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, yes. And JC was the last. Yeah, he was the last one. Yeah, because I decided I would take care of it.
Yeah.
So that one particular day he had done it, I decided, okay, and I could see I have a vivid imagination. I could actually see the knife when the idea came. I could see that knife, and what I need to do while he's asleep, I'm just gonna start whacking.
Yeah.
And my mother happened to catch, and I was at 11, had to be 11 or 12 at that time. And my mother happened to wake up to stop me. And I am so friends ask, because they said, Ernie, you just seem so I can't see. I said, baby, you have no idea
Hmm.
the love of a mother,
Yeah.
what you will do in
Right.
defense of your mother. I had every intention to kill him.
Yep. Yep.
Now,
I
of
was the
course,
same
I
way.
would have regretted it and all that, but no, I cannot lie to you. Oh no, I was just gonna scare him. No, no. Had my mother not waken up, I would have gladly killed him. But I know with my conscience, it would have eaten me up for the rest of my life.
Yeah. And well, the good thing is that after your cousin came with the gun, JC became her soulmate.
Oh man, yes he did. I have to say, and he apologized, Rich, before when he knew he had X amount of time to live. My mother called and said, "JC wants to talk to you," and I never thought I'd hear that, right? And he said, "I am so sorry. Please forgive me."
Hmm.
Please forgive me for what I did. And I just kind of hesitated, and you struggle with it. I said, yeah, I know. Yeah, as a Christian, I'm supposed to forgive, but it ain't automatic like that,
That's
man.
tough.
See, sometimes you want to hold on. That God will eventually, you ask God, Lord Jesus, give me the love you have, you know? And so I said the words, but it took a moment. It still took some time
Yep.
to actually forgive in my heart, because I can see things. Again, I have a vivid imagination. And when I remember things, I can see it in living color, in detail. So it was hard. But to his credit now, he became her soulmate. Oh my Lord, man. They were just inseparable.
Oh, good.
Uh, the whole time at the 35 years of marriage, they only apart for 2 days. And that's when he went to his sister's funeral,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, just and I think about, and even when she was, before she passed away, she said, I know you don't want to believe me, son, but JC really admired you. I know y'all didn't get along, but
Hmm.
he admired you. He says that Ernest is so intelligent. He's a go-getter. And when I got the show, that was something so left field.
Yeah.
And she the most what he admired mostly is that I would, even though I don't want I want to win every argument. If you if you can convince me that I'm wrong, I'll go right away. I'll say, I'm sorry or what. He said he loved that I owned up to my mistakes right away. You
Oh yeah,
know.
well, I want to talk about this later, but I love the fact how you always stood up for your beliefs. You never backed down. We're going to get into that in a little while.
Okay.
So I want
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
continue this because you brought up a great point about empathy and sympathy, and I think it could be the Dalai Lama I'm quoting. I could be wrong, but he said it's
Okay.
so easy to show sympathy and empathy when you love the person. The hard part is when you really don't like the person. Try to show sympathy. Try to forgive that person. That's when you really have to test yourself.
Woo! Yes. Yes. Yes, Lord.
Oh yeah.
Yes, Lord. That's hard. That's
Yeah.
hard. Yes.
I want to
Yeah.
go back to we were talking about your childhood, and you were talking about how you were introverted. You know, it's funny. You described me when growing up because, like, right, I'm really outgoing right now. I love talking to people, but I always say I'm the
Mm.
most antisocial social person, meaning that wherever I go somewhere, I'll talk to everybody. I'll be the life of the party, and then most of the time, I'm like, I really just don't feel like talking to anybody. But then when I go out, yay, how's it going?
Yeah. Oh, Rich, you just described me.
Yep.
Even today, and someone asked me recently about that. I said, no, I'm still an introvert.
Yep.
I just have learned, I fell in love with acting, which brought that gregariousness out of me.
Yeah.
But I still, you'll go to these events and you're talking and talking, and then you're like, I don't want to talk anymore. I'm so sick and tired of this small talk. If one more person comes over, look, I don't know you, okay? I don't know. Like, I'm not that. I would because I am interested in people's backstories,
Yeah.
but they don't tell you the truth. They sugarcoat it. I really want to know the gut bucket truth. Like, so, oh yes, I'm a housewife. Oh, I'm a nurse. Oh, so how did you arrive to this point where we are now?
Hmm.
I want to know everything. So your childhood and they start making you see some truth in there, but they're rewriting the script.
Oh yeah.
But I am genuinely interested in people's story. I really am.
You
Yeah.
would like my story because I was born with cerebral palsy, and luckily it only affected the right side, so my right hand, and my right leg. So when I was born, I was given the last rites 3 times. They said I would never walk or talk, but for the most part, I'm not being too scientific, but the left side controls the right side controls the left. The right side took over for the left side because it happened right when I was born, so overcompensated. So I'm not brain damaged, but the doctors told my mother that I would never walk, and so she brought me to so many doctors where they tore apart my tendon, and they were going to do an operation on my hand, but basically would just open it like this. And I said, thank God my mother. She was only 18 when she had me, just like your mother. And
Really? Okay.
yeah, so thank God. I said, where did you get the insight to say, you know what, I need a second opinion. I'm not going to take no for an answer. And she was, well, I had lots of help. But I mean, even at that young age, I would have been like, well, they're the doctor. They know what's best. She brought me everywhere. And so this hand, I'm so glad she didn't do that because I'm able to grip things and it has never affected anything. Over the years, I had the highest average in the baseball league. Then when I got older, I was in heavy metal bands. Then I did stand-up comedy. I wrote a fictional book that's on Amazon. I do radio shows now. I was in radio for a little while. I did motivational speaking, so it's never ever been a hindrance to me.
Rich, you got me right. You got me, man. Man, you have just knocked me out right now with that story. You have cerebral palsy?
Yep, cerebral palsy right here. I mean, so you can see it's not even really that bad. It's just like obviously
Yeah.
the control in the muscles, and
But
but
but just all the things about
yep,
all the things you achieved in spite of that,
yep.
and your mother, like you said, having the insight. Now you do have a book about all that though, right?
That it's funny. I didn't write a book about that. I wrote I love writing short stories, so I wrote 5 short stories. And my friend said, "Rich, I want to start my own publishing company. Do you mind if I publish your book?" I'm like, "Mine, please, go ahead." So it's on Amazon. But within that, I did a couple of book signings. One at the I live in Connecticut. There was a Barnes and Noble over there. They said it was the highest local author book signing they ever had. I sold 25 books. I ran out. They said most people that are major authors don't sell that many books at a book signing.
Oh
So
wow.
it's but what was great was, as I mentioned, another hobby I did was I did stand-up comedy. And while I was doing stand-up comedy, somebody says, "You
Oh,
would be a huge inspiration to my students." I said, "Where do you work?" He said, "I work at a place called Abilities Beyond." I said, "I would love to do that." So I started doing that. Somebody saw me there, like, "I would love to have you open up for me." 'Cause he was a motivational speaker. So I started doing libraries and schools. And then there's this great place in Waterbury called the Palace Theater. So they have something called the second act, people that are over 50. So I'm 57 years old. And they said, talk about your life. So they said that was the highest second act they ever had. The most, it was funny. Here, the funny part about that was my friends were like, oh, should I buy a ticket early? Might sell out. Those are couldn't get in. You want to know why? Because it was sold out.
Brother, Rich, but I'm gonna be on you about that, man.
Please
You
do.
gotta do your so many people around the world, man, needs to hear that story, and they need to hear the audio. They need
Yes.
to hear you like you're talking, because I can see why you're in demand as a speaker. But that story, man, that story from beginning to the to present day, man, they need to so many people be inspired, man. I mean, you're bringing hope to people in despair. You don't know how many lives you would even save,
Yeah.
that story, brother. I'm like, what are you talking about? You put the hand up like, not, you gotta write that, Rich. You have to, brother.
All
There are
right. Well,
people waiting on you. Yeah, God is holding you accountable, because there are people, and Oprah talked about that. She was telling people that, uh, yeah, there are all these great authors and all that, but there are people in this world that will not listen to anyone but you.
mhm.
They're waiting for just Rich to tell his story, speak it, written or otherwise. They want to hear him, and they will not hear anyone else.
Yeah.
I believe that with all my heart.
Well, I can tell you, I thank you very much for that, and I don't want to let Oprah or God down, so I got to write this book. But through social media, when I put posts up, people
Yes.
say, "Oh my God, you're such a huge inspiration to me. Thank you so much." And I feel like I'm not living a life. I start watching you. I got to start doing stuff. Like an example was
Oh,
I started going to the gym after COVID. I started gaining some weight. I said I need to do something, so I got a trainer. I lost over 50 pounds. I started doing running the 5Ks. I came in second in my age group in a couple of them. People are like, I gotta start running now. Like, so you're right. Without even writing the
wow,
book or even
man.
telling them my whole story, little things I've done, people will send me messages like, Rich, man, you are an inspiration. If you
Oh
can
my
do it, then
God.
anybody can. Because you know what's great about this is that I was born with it. So I never really knew anything else. So I
Okay.
never use it as an excuse, like, oh, I can't do this. When people would tell me, I'm just the opposite. When people say, are you sure you can handle it? I can handle it.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh man, with flying colors, you can handle
Oh
it.
my God, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's
Oh,
funny because
Rich, man. So
I
you
hear,
you lost 50 pounds?
yeah, over 50 pounds. I went to the gym. I said, I got to do something. So I got a trainer, and then I became, I'm not really an influencer, but that's what they were calling me because they did a story on me.
Yeah,
They, like my success story. And they had me on
yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, all the TikToks. So then which is great now because all these people at the gyms that I go to are saying, when's Rich working out? I want to work out with Rich. So they're like, people are requesting to work out with me. And I love it.
Oh,
Trainers like,
what? Man, that's awesome. Rich, are you kidding me, man?
oh,
That's
not.
awesome. Oh my Lord, brother.
I am living a fun life. I love my life. And I tell people,
Yeah,
I'm
my
having so much
Lord.
fun.
And you look happy.
I am. I'm very happy.
Okay.
It
Oh,
is.
good. That's great, man. That's great.
Well,
Well,
getting
thank
back to
you.
you, because your life, I mean, you've had some really lows and real highs and somewhere in between, and you're living such a great life. I want to go back to one more thing about your childhood, because I thought this was funny. It's sort of indicative of how you were as a child. Just like Raj, the character in What's Happening, you used to hang out at the soda shop. But unlike Raj, there was a different reason why you hung out at the soda shop. What were you hiding from?
The bullies.
Why were there bullies?
The bullies, man, they like I said, they were relentless, man. It wasn't like the entire school, and that's what I always say about the silent good people
Yeah, yeah.
who don't say nothing, you know, and they'll be there and they'll be part of the audience if anything laughing, but some are not laughing. They just standing there in horror, like, wow, they know they feel bad for you, but they don't say, stop it. I'll knock your teeth out. Don't hurt Ernie. You will not hurt Ernie. But never. Can I just say that? Not once.
I would have been there for you.
I knew you would. I know you would, Rich. But I remember even now, I can remember the soda shop because it had the bubble gum, the big bubble gum,
Yep.
and I love the yellow ones with the little red dots in it,
Yeah.
and the purple one. Those are my favorite, and I'll be so happy sitting there. But of course, they're gonna report you, you know. And I then my the last year, the sixth grade teacher, Miss Thomas, God bless her. Um, that time they could really physically reprimand you,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
And so she was a. I didn't know why we had to learn the Greek alphabet. It's because she was in a sorority, Delta Sigma Theta. I'm like, this is stupid. Why are we doing this? But I didn't say. But anyway, so one time I played hooky and I had to come back to school and she said, "Boy, I will not let you fail." Of course, I can't remember the exact, but basic, that was it. I will not allow you to fail.
Oh, good.
So I went, I'm thinking, oh, thank you. She said, oh, no. So she takes the paddle, and what they would do is grab the pocket on your jeans, the tighten, so your booty would stick out,
Yeah.
and she would, brother. Rich, she was standing like a baseball player, like that she waiting for the ball. The ball was your booty, and she hit like she's trying to hit a home run. And I'm thinking, and at the time, I'm like, what the hell? She just gave me that whole thing about I want you to fail, and no, you won't be allowed. You're smart. Now you're gonna whoop my.
Oh my God.
But thank God, I never forgot her. And when I did graduate from college, I did go and see her
Yep.
and thank her. I mean, she was crying.
Yep.
Oh my Lord, she cried. She cried so hard, man. But I thanked her. And the teachers, I will say this too, Rich, throughout were my anchors, because
Mhm.
they saw that. They saw that kid, who I mean, they didn't know about the molestation and stuff like that, or my mother getting beat, those things. But because of my imagination, and as I say now, as I look back in hindsight, that that was I was acting and escaping through stories in the books that we had, historical things. I would, or just go out, look out the window, and just imagine a world not like this.
Yeah.
Especially being a Christian too, where oh, you in heaven, you with Christ, or just the fairy tales they had at that time. I'll be looking out the window, and that was the one thing that all the teachers complained about is that Ernie starts daydreaming, and he's not here anymore,
Yep.
and they had to literally scream my name to get me back. You know. And but that was thank God I had that. I don't even with having Christ, I think that he gave me that daydreaming to escape
Hmm.
so I could get relief,
Yep.
from the asthma because I was praying for death. I mean, asthma still kills. It killed my cousin at 21. Then I had another my godson was 20 something. He died from it. It still does it. And they have more things to help you now than they did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I just got so tired of trying to breathe and everyone is sleeping and it's just a hard. So I said, well, I love Jesus. You love me and I'm coming to heaven. So could you please just, I'm ready to go. I'm thinking he gonna do it.
Oh yeah.
He's just gonna zap me in. But thank God.
Well, it's funny you brought that. I wanted to talk about this story. It's a great segue because I noticed this a lot and a comedian made a comment saying, you notice the most people who love the Holy Land the most are the ones that are most afraid to go. With you mentioned you had this big asthma attack. You're in the living room like, God, take me now. And your mother came downstairs. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Right, right. Thank you. That's right. No, don't say, don't be afraid.
No, you don't want to
Don't,
die. But you are not afraid, and you're still not afraid to die. And I love that because your faith
no.
is so strong in God, and your religion is
Yes.
so strong. You know
Yeah.
what's after this, and I love the fact because, like I said, there's a lot of people that are like will preach and preach and preach, but as soon as like,
Yeah.
oh no, I don't want to. I'm afraid of
Right,
this.
right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right.
You
Yeah,
you
yeah.
walk
Oh,
the walk and
brother.
talk the talk. I mean, talk the talk and walk the walk.
Brother, I tell you, Rich, and I know you read the whole thing about the drugs and all that, but with
Yeah,
all that I went through now, when I'm in church and I'm praising God, I'm thinking, I still say, and I said, Lord, I want to live to be 100 or something. But if you took me now, when I rewind the tape and see that all you brought me through, right, to this point, and you gave me this fame and not just ordinary, but well, people actually love telling me everything.
yeah,
There are women that have told me about the brutality of their husbands. There are girls, as a young lady that told me about her father, her birth father, molested them from 5 years old till they went to college at 18. Never told her mother, never told her grandmother. So people feel good. They know they can confide in me,
hmm
you know. But when I'm in church and I'm there, I'm crying and thinking about how all the drugs. I was so in that bowels of hell and around the drug dealers and that. God, I can't blame them. They didn't put a gun to my head and say, you better be around us. But when you look back at all that and going through the racism and going through your own people, blacks, the bullying, which was worse.
yeah,
It really was worse, right? Uh, and the asthma. I just said, Lord, if you take me right now, I'm good.
hmm
In that moment, I'm really feeling that, Lord. Yeah, I want to live 100 something, but Lord, I know, right, in church right now, worshiping you, all I ask is that I see you as soon as I leave. And so yeah, I feel so blessed, and that's why I love. Someone asked me coming from and it was in Atlanta, and I can walk, but long distances I do the wheelchair
yeah,
in the airport. And so the young kid who was helping me, he was a everybody he's Chris fan, and he was so excited, about meeting me. And but he says, so what is it? So you love acting, right? I said, yes, but nothing greater than making people happy.
hmm
If I know I can make you happy by doing something, by giving you money or just something, some act of kindness, that's a high that I can't express. I can't. I probably overdo it. My mother said,
yeah,
this she's a sin to be too nice, son.
yeah,
And she said while she was bedridden before she left, I'm praying to God you stop being so nice and let people use you.
yeah,
You know, I don't want to go leave this earth knowing my son is allowing people I said, so I said, would you pray on it? Just on everybody, you just anybody, I said, no, I will pray on it. I'll be nice to everybody, but choose who you invest in time and energy. So but yeah, I think I was born that way. I really believe I was born that way.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
first time I met you, you could tell you are a genuine nice guy. Sometimes I go to these conventions, you could tell people really don't even feel like being there, and when you're talking to them, they're not even really listening. You are just like you are now, funny, gregarious, having a great time. You're interested in what I have to say. You're
Yeah.
answering everything. So you're the real deal. And all I have to
Yeah.
say is, you were talking about like you can look back in your life, rewind the tape. After this, you're going to be finishing an interview in the Claus Corner. Your life is complete. Everything is good to go. There's nothing else left. How can you top this?
Love it. That's a good one, Rich. Well, hey, brother, we might as well have been brothers, right?
I think
We
so.
might have been blood brothers. Come on.
If not before, we are now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's knowing your story. I mean, God, you talk about being an introvert and all the challenges you had,
Yeah.
the health challenges as well as, just again, it could have definitely affected your self-esteem and everything. And your mother, God bless her,
Yeah.
who said, no, no, I'm not buying that. No,
Well, that's why I definitely have
God
to.
bless her.
If my parents are watching now, I want to thank them because I think my self-esteem is so great. It's because when I was little, they were like, "Oh, we'll put him in special classes." She goes, "No, I want him to be in the regular classes with regular." And I'm not putting anything down to special classes. What I'm saying is that they
Yeah,
were trying
yeah.
to like make special, saying, "Oh, we're not sure if he can handle this or handle that." She goes, "No, I want him to be treated just like everybody else." And so,
Oh
and it was great.
no.
And I can give you a perfect example. Usually, in fourth grade around that time, kids are just mean and they'll say things. I had an operation on my leg, and kids are like, "Well, what are you going to the hospital for?" I said, "My leg." "What's wrong with your leg?" I said, "Cerebral palsy." "Oh my God, I forgot about that." This was in fourth grade. Kids were saying that because it was
Oh,
just like I never really talked about it. I never really thought about it. I forgot about it myself, and I was just being myself. And people were like, "Oh my God, I don't even see it anymore." I
yeah.
get that so often.
Wow.
Like I never even
Yes,
noticed that.
brother. I love that. Yeah, your mother. Yeah, a shout out to her. Hey, mom and dad, they alive?
They are. So they'll
Oh
be.
man, God bless you both, man.
Yeah.
God bless you for what a y'all should be the parents of the year. That is awesome. That is so beautiful. That you're not no the experts. You're not the experts on my son.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
love that. Yes.
And this is my Father's Day present to you, Dad. A message from Raj.
Oh yeah, happy Father's Day to your father. Yes, yes.
I love it. Well, let's talk about you getting into acting because I want to talk about you. What was the first time that you got your first taste and loved it?
Well, again, when I look back, I didn't know it at the time, but in ninth grade, when we had to do a persuasive speech, something you didn't believe in, right? So I had one where I had to convince people that marijuana was okay, was good and healthy and great for you, right? And did another one where I was convincing people to be in the Nation of Islam, and as a Christian, it was so opposite. I was saying everything that was positive about the nation,
Yeah.
and I loved it. I loved because they would challenge. They're supposed to challenge me after I do my little speech, right? And I felt rich. It was a high I'd never experienced, and I didn't know what was going on. Because again, a person that not, I'm still introverted, but now I love the fact that I've done my research, you know, and I've got enough info to counter everything you're saying, right?
Yep.
And I loved it, and they were pissed.
I
You
love it.
can't be saying, "Oh, marijuana is okay." How can you say? And the angrier they would get, the more I would just smile, man. I would just love it. And so as I looked, I said, "Oh, that was the beginning of it then." Because of course, I don't really believe that, but
Yeah.
I made myself believe it. And so, yeah, I would say that, yeah, that was definitely, yeah, the first. Then in college, that was a whole nother is that I never wanted to be an actor though. And I know it's hard to believe the people so well yeah, it seems like you just no, I never want I admire I love sitcoms. I love the Lucille Ball
Oh
and
yeah.
you name them, Life of Riley, Danny
Honeymooners.
Thomas show, but and but and I admired it, the stage plays that grade school, high, or especially junior high and high school, the plays. I really love the friends who did that, and I always thought they were awesome, and a lot of them hate me because, and I understand why they would, have some hate for me, is because they always felt it was their thing. And
Yeah.
I always told them, "How do you do that? How do you remember those lines?" And I could never, ever, I did. And because I was shy for one thing, but also because I was Pentecostal, Church of God in Christ, and we weren't supposed to do anything of the world. right?
Yeah.
So, so yeah, that I never wanted to be an actor. And Jake Smith, who I hadn't talked to in years, and I always mention him in every interview. And I said everybody needs a friend like Jake Smith that sees something in you that you don't see in yourself, and when what he tells you is so scary.
Yeah.
It is so scary. How in the hell am I going to be an actor when, when I'm an introvert and I want to be a social worker? I don't want to get in front of people performing, you
Yeah.
know? And he saw that and he was relentless, you know? And we were just on the phone recently because I really expressed the depth of what he had done. I said, because of you, threatening to kick my ass when I wouldn't audition for the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, which is in New York, but they had regional auditions in Chicago. And I had taken an acting course and all that, so I got an A in it. That teacher told me that I could do that for a living. I went, okay, he's lost his mind too, right? So then Jake finds out about the regional auditions, and he takes me there. He buys a 6-pack of Schlitz malt liquor
All right.
to celebrate. So he said, go in there and we're going to celebrate. I said, Jake, look at this list of people. Robert Redford, Spencer Tracy. Man, they don't want me. It's no one. Ernie, get your ass up there. Get your ass up there. Oh, we're going to have a problem, you know. Again, paraphrasing, but all in that vein, you know, it's been so long. But basically, I saw a look in Jake's eyes I had never seen before,
Yeah.
that he was going to literally make me go up there. And thank God he did. Because if he had given me an excuse, yeah, man, you know what? As I think about it, yeah, those are superstars, man. Man, just forget about it. You're right. You're a social worker. You're gonna help a lot of people. He wouldn't allow me an excuse.
Yeah. Well, he actually drove you there too. Like he said, I'm
Yeah,
driving.
he drove me in that little Volkswagen, that little beige Volkswagen. I will never forget it.
That was
Yeah,
cool.
that beige Volkswagen. And I just said, "What possessed you, though?" He said, "I don't. I saw You made me laugh."
Yeah.
You know, and then once I knew I could make him laugh, I would try deliberately to do things. Put a pillow inside my shirt like I'm pregnant. He got me pregnant. You gonna take care of this baby? Just what just silly, as silly as I could be, I would do it,
Yeah.
you know. And he was my one man audience, no one else, right?
All you need.
And his wife did not think that at all. His wife thought, I don't get it. He's not funny. He's not funny to me.
Wow.
But Jake was and he said, I believe God sent me there because I was close to his brother.
Yeah.
His brother was my fraternity brother, Ivory, and I. He came. He's 2 years older, and he came there to go to college, and he just took me on board, under his wings as that little brother, And I think he had insight, a discernment that he probably didn't even know that I needed that. I needed someone, like that, uh, as to take me to a place I never would have met Muhammad Ali,
Right.
who took me on his wings, or Dr. Angelou saying, when I see you on television, I say, God, keep him. He's a good one. Or Burt Reynolds giving me his phone number and cell number. And I felt I'm not good enough to call him, but he was always so nice. Twice I met him. And I also met, oh God,
Sidney
of course,
Poitier.
Oprah. Oh, Sydney. Oh man, Sydney. Oh my Lord. Because he says, yeah, you look like me when I was younger, but better looking. I said, look, because he wanted me to be in the movie. I said, look, you ain't got to say, oh. He said, no, I really mean that. You do. Then he said, I'm a fan of I watch what's happening. I said, now you come on. Now you do not watch what's happening. Then he did a scene.
Yep.
He actually did a scene from what's happening
Can I do it?
with a girl.
Can I
Okay.
do it?
Sure, yeah, yeah.
Hey man, are you cool? You have change for an ice cube?
Yes, yes. Oh my Lord.
I love
Hey,
that.
come on. Is that insane? Right?
That is great.
70, 48. Like, where do you find, why would you be watching? But anyway,
No
yeah.
way. It's as I mentioned, I loved it. In '76, I was 8 years old. I watched it now as an adult. I
Wow.
love it probably even more and appreciate it even more as an adult. It's such a great, timeless show. Both of them. I love
Yeah.
what's happening now just as much.
Okay.
It's so good. But
Oh,
we're going to get
wow.
to all of that. But yeah, you've had such a
Yeah.
great. And I want to go back because you mentioned some names, and you mentioned
Yeah.
only a couple of them for the Academy of Arts. What's this? See, I had them.
Yeah, the American Academy of Dramatic Arts.
Yeah. So you mentioned Robert Redford, but some of the other people you mentioned in the book were Spencer Tracy, Lauren Bacall, Cecil B. DeMille, and Ernest
Oh,
L. Thomas. I mean, that what a you can't leave that name out.
all right. Yeah, I mean, it's a who's who, when you look at that list, of the
Yeah.
Eric Roberts, Kate Jackson,
Wow.
uh, from Taxi, uh,
Was it Judd Hirsch, Andy Kaufman, Tony Danza?
Judd Hirsch, and the little guys,
Oh, Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito, both.
I love that show.
Oh man, yeah, both of them. Yes, yes, man.
Right. I want
And
to.
Kim Cattrall,
Yep.
and was in the class, and how she soared, of course.
Oh yeah. No, so that school definitely graduated some iconic people.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, it's the oldest acting school, English speaking school in the world. Russia, I think, was the first acting one, but
Wow.
but the American Academy, yeah, was the first English, over 100 years old now. So I still feel honored. And I remember especially certain teachers. I remember Max Fisher. He had escaped. It was either the Holocaust and his family, but he could have been a great teacher, but trying to escape and all that, and going through the health issues. But he became, instead of this great actor, he became this great teacher,
Yeah.
and he was an amazing man, and never talked about like how hard, just in passing about the Holocaust, but he really invested in me. Like, you got it, kid. If I say you got it, you know, and when he directed a play, I was I and this property is condemned. It was Tennessee Williams' play at the American Academy, and I'm playing a 14-year-old, you know,
Yep.
and I'm very nervous because they have people come in and see it, and um, and then he saw me being nervous, and he took me aside, sat me down. He says, "Why are you nervous?" I said, "Well, it's just that I gotta be 14 yet. It's and then I got these little shorts on. You gotta show my little." He says, "Look, if I tell you you're great, you're great.
Hmm.
Don't worry about the people. I don't give no one in this school said believes it. I'm telling you, you have it. So I want you to go out there, and when you tell those people, look, yes, I'm a great actor. Look at me. He
Yeah.
actually said, look at me. I'm gonna show you. Yeah, yeah. And I never forgot that, man. Yeah, Max Fisher. Yeah.
Well, there was something else with Tennessee Williams. It was called Summer and Smoke, and I want to talk about how Geraldine Page helped you get in touch with your passion for acting.
Look at you. Oh my God.
Thanks for sticking around and watching my conversation with author, actor, and motivational speaker Ernest Lee Thomas. Don't miss next week's exciting episode as we continue with all the fun hijinks with Ernest Lee Thomas here on the Claws Corner.